We are pleased to welcome with us today NFL analyst and founder of baconsports.com, Rob Cressy. Rob's out there in Chi-Town, and he's freezing his you-know-what's off, but we're going to talk some NFL action. We're going to break down these divisional playoff games. Rob, first of all, good to have you with us. And talking about Saturday, we got two key games on slate, Kansas City at the Patriots and Green Bay at Arizona. Let's start off with Kansas City at the Patriots. And as of right now, the line is sitting Patriots -5. Any thoughts or inside information you might have on this particular ball game?
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is Andy Reid. As someone who has been sports betting for a while now, you know that Andy Reid has a kryptonite in the playoffs and inexplicably can find a way to kill gamblers. That's the first thing that comes to my mind is if you're betting the Chiefs, that is a vote of confidence for Andy Reid over Bill Belichick. So certainly the little buzzer in my head says, be careful with that right there. Number two, I also like to look at the quarterbacks. Who would you rather have, Tom Brady or Alex Smith? For me, I have a hard time trusting Alex Smith in this Chiefs offense where you're like, all right, where are they going to manufacture points with? They've got the split running backs with Sharkhandrick West and Spencer Ware. Jerry Maclin, how effective will he be? So it's really Travis Kelce is what you're looking at on offense. And you certainly have to think that Bill Belichick knows, all right, let's stop some Travis Kelce and see if it can really come up to the Chiefs defense to be the leaders for that team.
Now let me ask you this though, Rob. You know, Patriots now, they're getting healthier. All right, they've had 2 weeks to heal. Tom Brady had that high ankle sprain in the last game. Okay, so Edelman's supposed to be back full strength. That's going to be a huge addition. So this team is getting stronger. Now the Chiefs, Maclin may not even be going, and if he's not, that's going to be a tremendous hit on them. Alex Smith, however, I think he's done nothing to hurt this team. I think he's managed this team quite well and using his feet as a weapon. Now, when you bring in the Andy Reid and the Belichick, yeah, it's interesting because they both have a tremendous amount of playoff experience. The one thing that eludes Andy Reid, though, is that championship, and I just think Belichick's a step ahead of him. Again, Reid's done an amazing job in Kansas City. Sure, they haven't played the toughest teams in this run that they're on, but, you know, he's getting it done week in and week out. Again, that line is -5. Do you have a lean or what do you really feel about this game, and where might you be placing your money, Rob?
So I typically like the dogs because I'm someone who likes to seek value, go against public opinion. The thing that I'm having the hardest time with is I would love to take the Chiefs, except I have not been impressed with their victories in this 11-game win streak, I believe it is. If you look, I think their best victory is against Denver. But other than that, they've played against Raiders, Baltimore. They beat Pittsburgh with Landry Jones there, so I haven't been overly impressed. The thing that really stands out to me is the weakness, I believe, for the Patriots is their running game or a lack thereof. Case in point, Steven Jackson looks like he could be the featured dog there. But the strength of the Chiefs' defense is actually stopping the run, which is a great thing because, as you mentioned, Amendola's back, Edelman's back, Gronk's getting healthier. So that certainly plays to the Patriots with passing more often. Tom Brady hasn't exactly been the greatest against the spread in the playoffs. My lean says the Patriots, even though I don't like taking the favorites here, but for me, I'm going with Belichick and Brady over Andy Reid, thinking that the game, just the way it's going to play out, I think the Patriots are going to pass more and they're going to get the cover.
Well, we're on the same side because I'm feeling the exact same way. And again, I just think that playoff pedigree and that experience, you know, is going to bode very well for the Patriots. Now, Rob, with Green Bay at Arizona, here's another situation where you have a lot of experience on one side. Arizona, on the other end, doesn't have a lot of experience. They're coached very well, though. Bruce Arians has done a fantastic job with this team. Carson Palmer, when healthy, is a beast and says he's feeling really good right now. That line is at 7 as of today. And, Rob, if you will, give me some insight, some breakdown, and possibly a lean or who you think may come away with the victory in this one.
So once again, looking at the quarterbacks, like last week, I was on the Packers because you say, who would you rather have, Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins, or even projected after the end of the game, if Aaron Rodgers were to beat Kirk Cousins, which did happen, and you said to yourself, man, I can't believe I expected Kirk Cousins to beat the reigning NFL MVP. So once again, Aaron Rodgers' playoff record, 8-5, and he has a Super Bowl victory. Carson Palmer, I know he's been unbelievable. Looks like he'll be a top 3 MVP candidate this year, but 0-2 in the playoffs. So I know there's a lot of public perception that, man, this Cardinals team is not, if not the number 1, number 2 favorite to win the Super Bowl there. And for me, I think that there may be some people sleeping on this Packers team. No Tyrann Mathieu. Everything that I look at says, why would you not want to take the Cardinals? I love their balance on offense better. David Johnson's been running the ball great. He's also good out of the backfield receiving the ball. You got Larry Fitzgerald, John Brown, Michael Floyd. Over on the Packers side, Eddie Lacy has been a bit of a disappointment, to say the least. Splitting carries the James Starks. Randall Cobb isn't the best receiver right now. It's James Jones over for Green Bay. And I do think that people are sleeping on the Packers defense, which is better than people think. For me, I'm leaning with taking the 7 points, getting the touchdown with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
You know, and again, it's just a lean, but we're so far we're on the same page. I'm thinking also, you know, and I think James Starks only strengthens them. I know people expect a lot out of Eddie Lacy, but what James Starks brings to the table in his experience and his toughness, I like that. And I also like a couple things I saw last week with Green Bay, because there is a dispute between Rodgers and Coach McCarthy, and that is well known. I think, though, Rodgers has just stepped out of that and said, wait a minute, I'm playing for my team. I'm not worried about that. And his experience goes a long way. Arizona, though, are they just that damn good to demand a 7-point line right now? They may be. They may be. And their defense is absolutely stout. And, of course, you got Fitzgerald. You got a healthy Carson Palmer. And, again, I'll refer to it again, Bruce Arians. This guy's a player's coach. He knows how to win. But there's just that thought lingering in the back of my head that Green Bay has that experience. They proved it to me last week, because after that first quarter, when really they were looking shaky, Rodgers wasn't looking comfortable. After that, it was just visions of them in the past when they won the Super Bowl. So I'm kind of leaning that way also. And if they're going to give me 7, I think I would take it, and wouldn't be surprised if it was an outright Packer win because of experience. Now, on Sunday, Rob, we got 2 really, really good games. Again, you got experience and non-experience. Seattle going to the Carolina Panthers, who have surprised everybody this year, I believe, in the full season. Carolina right now, Rob, is favored -2.5. Do you think Cam Newton and company has what it takes, and the coaching staff can get them ready to face a battle-tested, Super Bowl-tested team that's really, really playing some good football right now?
Yes, I do. So once again, like I said, I like the underdogs, but I like the Panthers better than the Seahawks. And once again, I think public perception is seeping in to cloud some people's judgment here. So everyone's like, oh, the Seahawks are one of the hottest teams in the NFL, except for the fact that we want to forget that they lost at home to the Rams team. Sure, it was a blip on the radar. Nonetheless, it happened. And guess what? They were lucky to leave Minnesota with a victory. They certainly didn't cover that number there. So looking at it, it's what, 2 of the last 4 games have been subpar for the Seahawks team with, all right, does Marshawn Lynch play or not? If not, you're looking at Christine Michael, who I believe had like 20 carries for 70-some yards, less than 4 yards per carry average. No thank you on that one. Josh Norman on Doug Baldwin. All right, let's say he cancels him out. Now where are you looking there? Tyler Lockett, a rookie. Jermaine Kearse, no tight end for Seattle. On the flip side, I love what Cam Newton's doing, and I think I'm past the point where you say, well, what are the weapons that he's throwing to? Cam Newton has this versatility with this offense where they do find a way to make it happen. Jonathan Stewart looks like he is going to play. Plus, I really like this Carolina Panthers defense. They're 15-1. They're at home, and they already have beaten Seattle. And interestingly enough, the best game of the season for Jonathan Stewart this year was against the Seattle Seahawks defense, which gave up the fewest rush yards per game in the NFL. Jonathan Stewart had 2 touchdowns that game. I know people are saying, oh, take the value with the Seahawks. They can certainly win. You love having a live dog, but guess what? I believe in this Carolina Panthers team, and if I'm getting it at less than a field goal, sign me up.
Okay, and with that being said, Rob, I mean, isn't there just a little part of you saying, wait a minute, I think experience is going to win this ball game, because we all know Seattle, they've had their runs. Doesn't that at all play into this in your mind, that Carolina this may be the week that Cam Newton does what he used to do best, and that is choke and try to take too much on his back and then fall flat on his face? Or do you think that he has just matured that enough and this Carolina Panther team is just that good?
Without a doubt, it is a concern for me. But I know that the Seahawks, even if I don't think they're the hottest team in the world, they have been hot, and they turned their season around midway through to where everyone's like, man, you are afraid of them. But I still don't see the same edge on this Seahawks team as we've seen previously. And I'll correlate this to sort of how I was thinking about the Packers most of the season. Their offense went from being one of the best in the NFL to, I think, 24th in the NFL in overall offense, and just something wasn't there. So you have to say to yourself, all right, am I letting past bias seep in to inform my decisions? Or is this situation differently because this is a different year, different teams, no Max Unger, no Jimmy Graham there. And because of that, I do think that there's something special going on. Cam Newton is the MVP of the NFL this year. Josh Norman has elevated himself. They got Luke Kuechly. So I can certainly see a lot of positive things on the side of the Panthers. And right now, the positive side of the ledger for me is experience in Russell Wilson. And if we're looking at quarterback play once again, Cam Newton doesn't have the Super Bowls like Russell Wilson does. But if you're going to be betting against Russell Wilson, Cam Newton is the guy, at least this year, that I feel comfortable with.
I like that breakdown. I like that a lot. And, I was reading something this morning, Marshawn Lynch supposedly is going to be playing, but I don't think that's going to have a big impact because he's rusty and nobody can just step in and turn it on like that. So I'm taking it Carolina is going to be your official lean minus the 2.5. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. On that one, I'm sitting back right now. I'm going to see how some things play out in the next day. The last game, Pittsburgh at Denver. Now you got experience and experience. You've got winners against winners, and you got two quarterbacks that love the game and have been absolutely, amazing in their careers. Pittsburgh at Denver, and right now the last I saw was one spot had it minus 6.5 for Denver, but mostly across the board it's -7. What are your thoughts on the Pittsburgh Steelers and Denver in Denver?
So this one is extremely difficult to figure out because you've got a lot of uncertainty, a lot of risk, and a lot of potential downside. Obviously, with the Steelers, does Big Ben play? If he does, how effective will he be? If he doesn't, that means Landry Jones, and my goodness, we are in some trouble if we are backing Landry Jones. I assume if Landry Jones gets named as the starter, that line is going to shoot up to 10. Next, we got D'Angelo Williams. If he doesn't play, that means it's another Fitz-Toussaint, Jordan Todman game. Going into last week, I was concerned about the running game. Denver, one of the best run defenses in the NFL. I don't expect that the Steelers, once again, are going to repeat the success they had last week against the Bengals. Then you've got Antonio Brown, the best wide receiver in football. Right now, it looks like he's doubtful. If he doesn't play, that means Martavis Bryant has to be the number one. What is Martavis Bryant best at? Spreading the field. Certainly not a good thing if Ben Roethlisberger can only throw 25 yards down the field. That moves everybody up in the wide receiving game, up the pecking order. So now you need more out of Marcus Wheaton. And God forbid, we're going to hear the guy from the Raiders, DHB's music. Mm-hmm. And my God, if he has to start stepping up there, Darius Haywood-Bay, I'm sorry, couldn't remember his name. That is trouble for me. On the flip side, though, the thing that gives me optimism if you are betting the Steelers is Peyton Manning. That's right. I would rather Peyton Manning be in there for the Broncos than Brock Osweiler if I am betting the Steelers. Reason being, Peyton Manning in the playoffs, only 11-13. And in most of those instances, he has been the favorite. We have seen huge meltdowns from Peyton Manning. And guess what? What has he showed us this year that gives me any confidence that him at quarterback as the season goes on, that he's going to be able to cover as a favorite? I know that the matchup is great for Denver in terms of the Steelers secondary being weak, giving up, I believe, the most yards receiving in the NFL or most receptions. So for me, I love the value that the Steelers offer, but there's just way too much risk and uncertainty with that. So for me, this seems like a stay away game.
Yeah, and I can see that also. And, Denver is, battle tested also. That defense is phenomenal. They're playing very, very good ball. And what's really strengthens Denver is their running game is picking up. So, but I don't think Peyton coming in is going to slow the offense down. I think they're just going to make some shifts and adjustments to his strengths, knowing that he can no longer throw the long ball like he used to. But I got a feeling Peyton knows deep down that this is his last year, and this may be his best opportunity, because of that defense to win that Super Bowl. So I think he's going to step his game up to another level and pull down some and reach down and pull out some Superman somewhere. Now, Pittsburgh, and I got to say this, the way you broke that down sounds like you might be a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, Rob. We'll get to that in a moment. But Pittsburgh, they are very banged up. There's no doubt about it. Ben will not be anywhere near 100%. But if there's anybody that will take on that challenge, it's him, because he is absolutely a player's player, and he steps in every time. He's not worried about injury. But my biggest concern is their running game, I think, is not going to be happening. Williams, even if he comes back, he's already older. He's had a ton of carries, and I don't know how effective he'll be. But if Brown is not playing, this is going to change everything. And like you said, as soon as that information gets revealed, that line will shoot up. I wouldn't be surprised, double digits. And I would recommend now to anybody that really likes this value and opportunity would be to jump on Denver now before that line does go up. I personally will be on Denver. Now, back to that question, Rob, is there somewhere inside there you're a Pittsburgh fan, or did I read that wrong?
Born and raised.
Okay. All right. Well, I got to only respect that. And, I'm right next door. I'm born and raised in Philadelphia, so we go back a long ways as far as, back when football was football, and we knew who was going to be on that front line and that team and that backfield for 8 years straight. So, all right, yeah, I had an idea that that's what it was. So you heard it, everybody out there. Rob Cressy likes the Patriots, the Packers, the Carolina Panthers, and on the last game, he's sitting back. So take a look at that. Rob, thanks so much for being with us. We look forward to having you back again, and good luck in beating the book this weekend.
Thanks for having me on. Cheers.